Now we're going to take a look at ASNs on Mintsoft. This is Advanced Shipping Notifications, or goods in. There's a few different ways we can create an ASN. We can go to purchase orders on the left hand side and go to overview if we have a purchase order already. We can then go to actions, manage purchase order, and we can raise purchase order as an ASN. The items that are already on the purchase order will show on screen. You can highlight the ones that you want to come in, and you can set the quantity that's expected. For example, all 100 of these yoga mats might be coming in, but perhaps the supplier has said only 200 kettlebells can be shipped at this time. So we can change this quantity to 200. We can set which warehouse this ASN is coming into, and we can set the goods in type, which is especially important for 3PLs who charge their clients for receiving goods. This might be coming in on 12 pallets, and the estimated delivery date might be middle of next week. If I then click Create ASN, excuse me, for some reason it didn't accept that. I don't think I had it ticked on the right hand side. I can then create ASN. Let's just change that date again. And now I have an ASN on the system. Okay, we will come back to this page, but just to demonstrate, there's a few other ways you can create an ASN. If we go to Warehouse on the left-hand side, we can just click Create ASN. This means we can create an ASN from scratch without the need for there to be a purchase order on the system already. So if purchase orders are handled outside of Mintsoft, you can just set the ASN or the goods in when you're ready. If you want to find a list of ASNs, you can go to ASNs underneath, and you can see them by client, by status, by warehouse, and by supplier. You can then also go to warehouse on the left-hand side and go to delivery calendar. On the delivery calendar, you can see all of the ASNs plotted on the correct dates, and you can actually click on them to be taken onto the Edit ASN page. On the dashboard, a good module to have is the Goods In calendar. This can be added at the top left-hand side by going Add Module and selecting Goods In calendar. We can see here it's like the delivery calendar, only smaller and on the home screen. If I click onto the ASN, the way that we can edit this ASN is very similar to the previous section of video. For purchase orders, we have items at the top. We can add items to the ASN manually. We can upload items on a CSV file. We can go to details and change supplier, supplier notes, estimated delivery, delivery type, and a few more things. We can go to history, see who's made changes to the ASN, and we can go to attachments to upload files and documents. We can see at the top that ASN is in the status of new. If I change it to confirmed, the status will go to awaiting delivery. Now that buttons update at the top, I could receive the ASN and I could generate the ASN paperwork. If we take a look at the paperwork first, it looks like this. So we can see warehouse address details where the goods are coming in. We can see supplier details over on the right hand side and some other details about the ASN. We have a barcode for the ASN, and we also have products that are due to come in. We can see here carton location. It's actually got that filled in already for the yoga mat because it has a default location set against it. We can see the expected quantity, and then there's a space where we can make a note of the quantity received. When you're receiving ASNs without the handheld scanners, and you're doing it the paper-based way, the chances are you'd be filling in this document, taking it back to Mintsoft, and then updating Mintsoft once everything's been put away. If we go back to Mintsoft, we can then click Receive to proceed with receiving this ASN. If we scroll down, we can see the expected items that have come in, and if we put them away already, we can fill that in here. In bulk actions, it says save, and you do have to click go to make sure that you've locked this information in, as if you try to continue without saving, then it would be on the system still as 0. If you have a goods in station and you want to scan the products as they come past you to update them below automatically, you can do so by scanning the products with a USB scanner while the cursor is selected in here. You can change the quantity to scan multiple items at once. You can also update the delivery details here in case it's different to what you expected. And as a 3PL, you can log hours against the ASN in case you have an hourly charge for receiving those goods. There is a button to mark all items as received. By default, this button is turned off, and if you want to turn it on, you need to go to Settings, Customer Account Settings, ASN, and enable it. The reason it's turned off by default is to make sure that people are checking goods in without cheating, clicking that button, and automatically putting the quantity expected and quantity received exactly as expected. I can now go to Assign Locations and Book In. And on screen, I can make a record of where these products have been put away. For example, these kettlebells, they may all have been put away in 1A, 1A. And these yoga mats, perhaps I could only fit 50 of these in 1A, 2A. So if I scroll up and click Assign, it will lock that in. And as you can see on screen, it's locked in what I have put away. But for yoga mats on the right hand side, there's still 50 more to go. So I can select a different location. I can click Assign again. And now we can see that I've split the put away of these yoga mats across 2 locations. At the top, I can then book in ASN, which would complete the whole process for me. No further changes could be made, and these products would be available on the shelf. I could partial book in ASN if I haven't completed the put away of the ASN and I want to come back to it later. And there's also Assign to Default Location. If your products have default locations set against them, then it will automate the assigning of these below. I'll finish this off now by clicking Book in ASN. It will ask me if I'm sure, and I'll say OK. And then it takes us onto the Receive Goods screen where we could receive the next ASN. A shortcut to get to here would be by going Warehouse, Receive Goods, and then this is the page where you could scan the barcode of an ASN, which was found on the paperwork a few moments ago, and then you could begin to receive that ASN instead.